Have you ever felt like your body just wasn't cooperating anymore? Like simple things, reaching for something on a high shelf or bending down to tie your shoes, suddenly felt like major undertakings. Maybe you wake up with stiffness, or that ache in your shoulder or back just seems to be a constant companion. It's easy to feel like you're losing a little bit of your independence, or that your body is slowly letting you down. It's a painful reality many of us face as the years add up. You start to wonder if this is just how it is now. But what if I told you there's a simple, natural approach? Something you can do for yourself that could make a real difference. Something that helped me, in just 2 weeks, feel like I was getting some of that strength and ease of movement back. It's not some expensive gadget or complicated therapy. It's a secret that's been around forever, almost forgotten in our modern rush. In this video, I'm going to share my personal 2-week journey discovering the power of natural massage techniques you can do at home, and exactly how I went from feeling weak and limited to feeling like I had a bit of that warrior spirit back in my body. I'll walk you through the gentle techniques I used, the areas I focused on, and the surprising changes I noticed day by day. You don't need any special skills or equipment to start. Just an open mind and a willingness to give your body a little love. Watch to the end for something that will truly surprise you about what's possible. Let's dive right into how this all began for me. This little experiment I started just 2 weeks ago. I was really feeling it. That persistent stiffness in my neck and shoulders from sitting too long. The ache in my lower back after even a short walk. And just a general feeling of being less capable than I used to be. It wasn't a sudden thing. More like a slow creep. But lately, it felt like it was speeding up. I knew I needed to do something. But the thought of strenuous exercise felt overwhelming, and I wasn't keen on constantly reaching for pain relievers. I started thinking about gentler ways to help my body. Something that felt nourishing rather than punishing. That's when I remembered something my grandmother used to do. Just simple rubbing and kneading on areas that felt sore. It got me thinking about massage. But not the expensive spa kind. More like self-massage, using just my own hands. Maybe a little lotion or oil. I decided to commit to a short focused period, just 2 weeks, to see if these simple, natural techniques could make any noticeable difference. I wasn't expecting miracles, just maybe a tiny bit less stiffness, a little more comfort. I started on day 1 by focusing on my neck and shoulders. This is where I carry so much tension. I began by just gently rubbing the back of my neck, feeling for those tight spots. I didn't press hard at all, just soft, circular motions, like I was trying to warm up the muscle. Then I moved to my shoulders, using my opposite hand to reach over and gently knead the top part, near where it meets the neck. I spent maybe 5 minutes on each side. Just slow, deliberate strokes, breathing deeply the whole time. It felt a little awkward at first, trying to reach those spots. But I quickly found a rhythm. The key for me was gentleness. It wasn't about digging into the muscle, but coaxing it to relax. I used a simple, unscented lotion, just enough to help my hands glide smoothly without pulling the skin. I did this first thing in the morning, before I even got properly dressed, and again in the evening while watching TV. After just a couple of days, I started noticing something. That morning stiffness in my neck wasn't quite as bad. I could turn my head a little further without that catching feeling. It was a small change, but it was enough to encourage me to keep going. I decided to add another area, my hands and wrists. You know how our hands can feel stiff, especially first thing. Or maybe your wrists ache after writing or using a computer. I started gently massaging each finger, from the base to the tip, then rubbing the palms in small circles. For the wrists, I'd hold one hand with the other and gently rotate the wrist a few times. Then use my thumb to rub the fleshy part at the base of the thumb and along the wrist bone. This felt incredibly simple, almost too simple to do anything, but the act of just paying attention to my hands, warming them up with gentle massage, seemed to loosen them. I did this for maybe 3 minutes on each hand, several times a day, especially if I'd been doing something repetitive. By the end of the first week, the combined effect of massaging my neck, shoulders, and hands was noticeable. I wasn't pain-free, not by any means, but the constant, nagging discomfort had lessened. I felt a tiny bit lighter, a little more fluid in my upper body movement. It wasn't just the physical change, either. Taking those few minutes each day, just for myself, to gently tend to my body, felt surprisingly calming. It became a little ritual, a way of saying thank you to my body for carrying me through the day. I realized this wasn't just about working out knots. It was about connection, about actively engaging with my physical self in a kind and gentle way. It felt empowering, like I was taking back a little bit of control over how I felt day to day. It made me excited to see what the second week would bring and what other areas I could explore with this simple approach. Knowing that I was seeing results from something so natural and easy to do at home was truly motivating. It wasn't complicated. It was just about being consistent and gentle, building on the little victories of the first week. I decided to expand my focus during the second week of my natural massage journey. The improvements in my neck, shoulders, and hands, though subtle, were enough to make me curious about what else was possible. One area that often gives me trouble is my lower back. Standing or sitting for too long can leave it feeling stiff and achy. I knew I couldn't easily reach the center of my back, but I could access the sides, the area just above the hips, using my knuckles or the heel of my hand. I started gently rubbing this area in circular motions, sometimes pressing slightly, but always checking in with my body to make sure it felt comfortable. I also found that simply placing my palms flat on my lower back and rubbing upwards and downwards, creating a little warmth, felt soothing. This wasn't deep tissue work. It was more like waking up the muscles and encouraging blood flow. I would do this for a few minutes whenever I remembered, often after getting up from a chair or before going to bed. It helped to ease that tight, constricted feeling. Next, I turned my attention downwards, to my legs and feet. Our legs carry us everywhere, and our feet bear the brunt of it all. Yet we often neglect them until they start complaining loudly. For my legs, I focused on the calves, which can get surprisingly tight. Sitting down, I'd prop one leg up and use both hands to gently knead the calf muscle, from the ankle up towards the knee. Again, it was all about gentle pressure, listening for any tender spots and just working around them with soft strokes. I did this for a few minutes on each leg. For my feet, I found that simply rubbing them with my hands, especially the soles, felt incredibly relieving. I would use my thumbs to make small circles all over the bottom of my foot, paying extra attention to the arch and the ball of my foot. I'd also gently pull and wiggle each toe. This was especially nice at the end of the day, helping to release tension built up from walking around. I even started keeping a small ball, like a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball, near my favorite chair. I would place it under my foot and gently roll it around, letting it press into the sole. This felt like a mini foot massage without even using my hands. Incorporating these additional areas into my routine didn't add much time, maybe another 10-15 minutes spread throughout the day. But the cumulative effect was becoming more apparent. By the middle of the second week, I noticed I was moving more freely. That hesitant feeling when starting to walk after sitting was lessening. Getting out of bed in the morning felt a little less like a major effort. I found myself standing taller too, almost unconsciously. It wasn't just that the aches were less intense. There was a subtle but definite increase in my overall energy levels. It felt like my body wasn't fighting against itself quite so much. The natural massage wasn't a magic cure, of course, but it felt like I was giving my muscles and tissues permission to relax, to release some of the tension they were holding on to. It was about creating warmth, stimulating circulation, And just bringing a gentle awareness to different parts of my body, I realized that these simple, consistent actions were making a tangible difference in how I felt throughout the day. It wasn't about being a competitive athlete. It was about being able to enjoy my daily activities with more ease and less discomfort. The idea of feeling weak was starting to fade, replaced by a sense of gentle strength returning, a feeling that I was capable and my body was supporting me. This journey was showing me that sometimes the most powerful tools are the ones we already have, our own hands and a little bit of dedicated, gentle attention. So, here I am at the end of that 2-week journey. And the transformation, though not miraculous in the sense of leaping tall buildings, has been absolutely profound for me. From feeling restricted and achy, especially in my neck, shoulders, lower back, and those often forgotten feet, I've genuinely started to feel like I'm moving towards being a warrior in my own body. Not in a tough, aggressive way, but in the sense of reclaiming strength, ease, and capability. It wasn't about finding some complex solution, but rather about rediscovering the simple, natural power of touch, of self-massage. The techniques were so basic: gentle rubbing on the back of the neck, kneading the shoulders, circular motions on the lower back, stroking the calves, and paying loving attention to the soles of the feet. It was about being consistent, doing these little bits throughout the day, and always being gentle. Listening to my body was key. If something felt tender, I eased up or simply skipped that spot for the day. The most surprising thing, the thing I promised to share with you at the end, it wasn't just the physical relief, which was significant. It was the mental and emotional shift. Spending those few minutes each day, focusing on my body with kindness, created a powerful sense of self-care and empowerment. It wasn't just about reducing pain. It was about feeling more connected to myself, more in tune with what my body needed. This daily practice became a grounding ritual, a moment of peace in the day that helped reduce overall stress, which I'm sure also contributed to feeling better physically. It's a reminder that our bodies are incredibly resilient and responsive. Even as we age, they just need a little help, a little nudge, a little loving attention to feel their best. You don't need expensive equipment or a therapist's appointment. You have everything you need right at your fingertips. Remember, small changes, consistently applied, really can make a big difference to your health and happiness. You don't have to feel like you're just managing discomfort. You can actively work towards feeling better, stronger, and more capable. If you're experiencing some of the aches and stiffness I described, why not give some of these simple, natural massage techniques a try? Start with just one area that bothers you the most, and commit to being gentle and consistent for just a few days. See how it feels. I'd absolutely love to hear about your own experiences, or if you decide to try this. Please share your thoughts or any questions you have in the comments below. Your experience might just be the inspiration someone else needs to start their own journey. And if you found this video helpful or encouraging, please give it a like. It really helps this kind of information reach more people who could benefit from it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more simple, natural ways to improve your well-being as you age. Let's support each other in living our best lives at every age. Thank you for watching and spending this time with me. Take care, and start being kind to your body today.